Right now, standing by with a special guest. Let's go upstairs. Here's Bruce Buchanan. Bruce.
Thanks, Tim, and my guest is Riders President Phil Kershaw. And Phil, before we talk expansion and other issues in the CFL, let's first of all talk about the first half. A late field goal by Dave Ridgway, and maybe that'll give your team a lift for the second half.
Well, our offense has been struggling, and I think that's obvious from last week and the first half of this game. But, you know, Ken Austin's got a great track record in this league. We're not out of this game. We've got to find a way to contain Doug Flutie. I don't know if anybody's ever figured out a way to contain Doug Flutie, but, you know, we're only one big play away from being right back in the thick of this thing. And, hey, we've got our playoff spot locked up, and we've got to play Calgary twice. So right now it's a matter that we've got to strategically try to find a way to win this game and win next week so that we can at least get that home playoff game against either Edmonton or Calgary. So you never lose heart. It's tough in the CFL because it's a very competitive league, and at any one time you're trying to beat Calgary Stampeders. It's not a slam dunk by any question.
You and my color man Alan Ford are off to Hamilton on a red eye tonight, I believe, for expansion talks.
Oh boy, yeah.
In Hamilton. Will the league stay competitive if you go through with expansion?
Well, there's lots of good football players. You know, the sport of football creates more players. When you look at the U.S. college system, the Canadian college system, there's far more players to choose from who can play than, say, a sport like hockey, where they're limited by the number of players that come out. So I think there's no question. If we got to look at the rules, the import, non-import ratio, questions like that. But I believe it can be done, and I think it can be very, very positive.
6 cities apparently showing interest in CFL expansion. Of those 6, who do you think might get in?
Well, Montreal would be great because we'd love to be back in Montreal. I'm a little concerned, and you know, in my other life, I'm chairman of the Yes Committee, and I'll tell you, if we get a no vote on October 26th, I'd have some concerns about how we could rationalize Montreal expansion. But Orlando, that's a lot of travel. Don Matthews, as you know, our coach, coached the Orlando Thunder. He felt that Orlando was a tough market to sell. Sacramento is a great market, particularly if Portland comes in, because then you'd have Portland, Sacramento, and Vancouver all close. Memphis, Tennessee's great football, and so San Antonio, Texas. And former CFL head coach Mike Riley, of course, was involved in coaching that club down there.
What do you see as the strengths in the league right now? Just the competition between all the teams. It seems every week we have some real good games in the CFL.
Well, I think the game itself is so much superior to the 4-down game. Our game is much more wide open, much more passing, much more scoring, although we haven't seen a lot of it today in the CFL scores that I'm hearing. But I think the strength is the inherent game. I think the Canadianness of it is something that, even though we can expand and it can be good, we can't lose the essence that this is the Canadian Football League, and it's the fact that Canadian teams playing for the Grey Cup, which is a #1 sporting event, even if we do get the World Series this year, #1 sporting event in Canada, that's what drives the whole thing. And I think as long as we keep this kind of football, 25,000 people sitting out here on a cold day in McMahon Stadium, people watching it at home theater back in Saskatchewan across Western Canada, this is the essence of the CFL right here.
Phil, you're a busy man. Thanks very much for stopping by.
Thanks, Bruce, and congratulations. The job Home Theater's doing today is great, and it's providing a much-needed service to our fans and football fans across the West, and let's hope we can keep doing this.
Thanks very much. Phil Kershaw, the president of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The score at halftime: Kershaw's Roughriders trailing the Calgary Stampeders 16-3.